Someone said that there was some beef to be had. Blood Angels commander had been struggling with pure infantry guard. Not real beef, by the way. By the way, if you are a Blood Angels player, Blood Angels commander does some good content. Playing a horde, 300 plus guardsman list at a GT. This game was a nightmare. Let's have a look. It's not the first time, man. Let's have a little reaction. Let's have a little impromptu reaction.
Greetings, my friends. I wanted to tell you about a tournament game I recently had against Astra Militarum. I know this video should have come out in December, but here it is now. I was on a 3-0 winning streak, and it was...
So this is the same one. I saw this when he was doing his like post-tournament, like straight, hot take, and he was knackered, and you could just see like the despair in his eyes, and it was... Don't mean it hard way, but it was funny. From a guard player perspective, it was funny because he was like, "How do you beat this? How do you say?" And he kept like talking about other games in the tournament and then coming back to this one again.
Or kind of a tough pill to swallow, this loss, but swallow it we must. And here is what the list looked like. Now look at this craziness. So Ursula Creed and Iron.
That's really cool animation. I like that.
We then had like a command squad commissioner. A bunch of Death Corps.
Commissioner! Damn you, right, so it's a cover, sir. I'm only taking the piss.
We have like 20 Kachkan fighters, another 20, another 20, another 20, 20 Death Corps of Krieg, another 20, another 20, another 20. So at this point, that's 160 plus all the characters, which there are. I guess that's like basically 20, so like 180, then a 20-man infantry squad, another 20, another 20, another 20, so that's like 260, and then 2 5-man squads assigned, so it was like 270 guys.
So we had, so there was 41, 2, 3, 4, so there was 240 infantry. I think he counted one of the infantry squads twice, but I might be wrong there. So it's 240 infantry plus 10 scions, plus all the officers, about 270 infantry in total. So yeah, it's about, yeah.
And my god, I mean, my list is not prepared to deal with 200.
Look at the Blood Angels list! 1 minute. Look at the guard list, which is so big it goes over 2 pages. Look at the Blood Angels list. Nice melter guns there. Nice melter guns. Nice fucking anti-tank. We've got some anti-tank and some anti-tank and some more anti-tank. And oh look, there's some more anti-tank. Oh, and there's a bit more anti-tank right here. I'm laughing at this because it's an evil cackle, because it is funny. Because I've been saying this about Pure Guard for a while. But please don't think I'm laughing at Blood Angels commander here in any way, shape, or form. No. I'm laughing at the scenario. He's himself was somewhat chuckled in the video. So just want to make sure that we're people don't get the wrong end of the stick here. But no, absolutely. Like, this is, if I saw this list on the table, I would be like, that's a good Blood Angels list, because it's very much geared up for what you would expect to face in the meta. There's, it's got a shitload of anti-tank, but it's also got enough anti-infantry, because you've got the aggressors, obviously we put out a shitload of anti-infantry, Death Company, which can do the choppy. So most of the army is shooting anti-tank, like a bit of anti-infantry in there. So yeah, I mean, Blood Angels are always going to be half decent in combat. So on paper, a good Blood Angels list set up to be very much able to handle the meta. This is the kind of stuff that most people are bringing. Now, I'm not saying, like, I don't mean specifically these units. There's some cool, like, tactics that's been tried out here by Blood Angel Commander, so 100%. But what I mean here is this approach of, I'm going to really focus on anti-tank and then have enough combat, enough anti-infantry, is the way that I would say 90% of armies are going. As a result, pure infantry guard is ridiculously anti-meta, because this list, frankly, does not have enough bullets for the amount of bodies.
You didn't even have everything on the table at this point, actually. I was going to say, I think this is like 20, 40, 60, 80, 120. I think there was the 3 infantry squads here, so he maybe had like maybe he had like 240. I think there was maybe like 2 squad. The Scions were definitely in deep strike. Maybe there was one other squad. So this is how we lined up. Here's the problem with this infantry squad. Each squad has 2 las cannons. The only way I can kill these las cannons is if I chew through like 18 other infantry. Well, what the hell have I got that can chew through 18 infantry at range? Nothing. Tactic here, if possible, was to try and get any unit I could in melee. My tanks in melee, anything in melee, because get no way to fall back and shoot.
So looking at this from my perspective, like judging like the guard deployment here for a second, and also judging, you know, if I may be so bold, the Blood Angel deployment. The guard deployment here is actually pretty exposed. The guy must have been really hoping for turn 1 because these guys here are actually pretty exposed. These aren't behind any kind of cover. And they're Catachans, so maybe he was planning on like scout moving them so that they would be able to hopefully avoid some line of sight. I mean, I guess he knows he's facing Blood Angels. I guess he knows that the Blood Angels have got more anti-tank than anti-infantry. But still, like, there is a lot of excess, there's a lot of casualties here that sort of being given to the Blood Angels. What the fuck do you do about that? Because he's clearly filled up most of his deployment zone. The other thing, though, what I would say regarding the Blood Angel deployment is we've spoken about this video, like about forced concentration. What the fuck are these Marines doing down here? It's only a small thing, and maybe it was to stop screening. Maybe it's like screen stuff out, but in which case, fair enough. That is like 3 guys with melter guns facing down, you know, this. Those 3 aren't going to do dick. They're not going to kill any. They're just not going to kill any guardsmen. They might kill like a handful. I feel like there's a little bit of spreading out that's happened here. And if I had been the Blood Angel player, everything I had would have gone into force concentrating this side because that's where the guard presence is weakest. There's less infantry on this side. You delete this portion of the army because it's easiest. And then you can start deleting down that. Even with reinforcements, you zone all of this out because you don't need. But it's still an incredibly difficult matchup. But we'll see how the game progresses. Blood Angel Commander might explain his tactics.
Secondaries here, I decided to pick fixed.
Interesting.
I was going to do cleanse and deploy teleport homers. So my plan was to hopefully cleanse these 2 on my side of the board and deploy homers either somewhere near the middle or in his deployment zone. Getting into his deployment zone was going to be really difficult, but there was some space here. But also, holding primary here is going to be a nightmare because every single guardsman is...
Again, picking fixed objectives is good. Assassinate would have been great. Cleanse and teleport to Homer, I think that was a mistake. This guard army does one thing, which is stand on circles. Bear in mind a couple of things here. 1, you don't play against armies like this. Sometimes you have to learn that the hard way. 2, often armies are built with fixed objectives in mind. Whilst it might not make sense to take those fixed objectives, sometimes you're kind of locked in. And 3, and I think this is very important, don't forget that this is game 4. So 3 games have already been played early in the morning. Probably not had the best night's sleep. These are real world factors. I put a huge emphasis on real world factors. I have lost more games due to real world factors than anything else. Anything I've done in game.
And I believe the Death Corp guys can even become OC4. Those Death Corp guys get a 3-up saving cover, which is ridiculous because they can stat cover, and they get a 5-up feel no pain. And get this, if you kill all 20, you can pay 2 CP to bring the whole squad back.
Yes!
See how many guys he's got left at the end of the game? And remember, he brought 80 guys back. So let's see how he got on. So turn 1, my thought was get the Death Company into cover here. Try and stay out of line of sight of these las cannons, which I did. And I was going to try and get into combat with as many guys as I can. My Death Company are all Infernal Pistols and Power Fists. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be the best option here. The best option here would have probably been hand flamers, but who the hell is putting hand flamers on the Death Company?
Exactly.
I'm a little bit scared with my tanks in that there's going to be 6 las cannons I cannot even shoot back at, essentially.
Prop the guard player. This army is fully painted coherently and cohesively.
In turn 2, I basically teleported my aggressors here. You can see a huge swath of dead guardsmen here. How many squads were there a minute ago? There was like 220 mans and another 20. So
yeah,
like a Vindicator tank, the Incept.
I do think the guard player was far too aggressive. Even knowing about cleanse and stuff, I probably would have played it Conservatively, turn 1, let the Blood Angels move out, and then turn 2, gone for the kill.
There's
I like playing to the late game.
I think there was a
Guard player
command
might
squad
have
in
thought
there
I
as
could
well.
have this
So they
have
did-
this nailed
the
down
three
early
squads
because of
of them
the
together
points limit,
deleted
time
like
limit.
65 guardsmen or something like that. I actually killed like 105 guardsmen already.
Yeah.
I left a squad of eradicators down in this corner to just try and slow him down because I assumed he was going to do a move like this and try and pile a shed load of guys onto my home field objective, which he did. And I also assumed he was going to.
I wouldn't have slowed down. I would have
try and,
forced
like,
concentrated a
come
bit
in
more. It's only
in
one
this
squad though.
back
It's not a big
corner as
deal.
Well, fortunately, my tank fitted in here,
Yeah.
so that means it could shoot out. Right, I had my heavy intercessors in here.
No,
as
this is
well.
a great.
Basically, the
I have to say,
heavy
great with
intercessors
great
sat
counter
in cover,
to kill that many
touching this
infantry.
objective,
I
and
would
they
be like,
closed that
shit, man.
objective
That's
for the
way
entire
more
game.
casualties than I want to
So
take, even as an infantry guard
maybe I could
commander.
have come out with the tank a little bit earlier. I wanted to come out with the tank as soon as I thought I'd got rid of a few more las cannons.
So there you go. So this is the problem. Turn 1, the Blood Angels have gone in quite aggressively, and then if you actually look at what the Guard have done in their turn 2, is the Death Company are gone, which are one of his main sources of anti-infantry. You can see the aggressors have been quite well thinned out down here as well. Catch 22 are facing pure infantry guard comes in, because you need to be go from the get-go. If you fully expose yourself, all of the firepower.
And then use the heavy intercessors to mop up the scions, because what it ended up meaning was that the repulsor ended up being back here.
Let's go to turn 5.
There's not many las.
So Wednesday of the game, he actually has a really respectable amount of stuff left. The Guard player, which is understandable, the Guard player, he had a lot of Catachans, so there's not a huge amount of like special weapons in there. Also, he was putting Vox casts on his Krieg blobs. Amazingly, the end state of the game, there's actually a very respectable amount of Blood Angels left, and the Guard forces are really heavily thinned down. Most of the Blood Angel armor is actually fine, and even the aggressors are still having a good time doing their thing. What the Guard player kind of just went for was, fuck it, I can lose 95% of my army and win. I think that's a totally valid way to go. If I lose 40 men, it doesn't matter as long as I got the points for it. Yeah, there wasn't a huge amount of damage dealing in the Guard army, and you can see that because most of the Blood Angel, most of the accoutrement is dead. It's the stuff that lasguns can't kill, which is still around. So, you know, to the 6 on the aggressors, they're still around. Definitely, it makes sense why the tanks are still rocking and cocking. This game is crazy. I've never killed so many damn models. Every single time we brought a squad back, it only costed 1 CP. As a card with Vect would have been worth her weight in gold. You can't use Vect on reinforcements because it's not a battle tactic stratagem, but that might have not been the case when this battle was played. I think the best unit to counter this tablet would have been Lots Death Company with chainsaws and hand flamers. Not that we see these much. Well, exactly, you're building to counter this specific build, but you're only going to come across this Guard army once in a blue moon. But no, I agree. Locky used it to combat to prevent them shooting was how I managed to keep up scoring wise. The Death Corps are difficult to shift 3+ save. Aggressors were amazing. Could have been a little bit more aggressive with the repulsors, but didn't want, struggle to disable the lads cannon. They didn't want to lose to the lads cannons. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So I just want to say big thank you, by the way, to Blood Angel Commander for putting this video out there. It was for me personally, it was very interesting to see things from the other side. I love my pure infantry guard. It's great to see someone else run it, but it's also great to see someone else face against it and get that insight. So yeah, that's cool. So hats off to the Guard player, hats off to the Blood Angel Commander. 80 points is actually very respectable. It's a game-winning score in many cases. For me, unsurprising, and the reason it's unsurprising is the Guard army, my experience with the infantry guard is the infantry don't actually stop your opponent from scoring a lot. Sometimes you can completely dominate on primary, but to do that you often have to put yourself out there, and then so what the Guard army does, it kind of scores its own thing, and then it just relies upon basically getting max points whilst doing a bit of denial, but mostly you're going to play your game and it's going to play its game. So 1893 is definitely a score that if I was to make a guess of the score before it came out, I would have said Blood Angels will get 75 to 85 points. Guard is going to get 85 to 90. It's going to get 90 plus points in that matchup. But yeah, very, very interesting. And yeah, that's for me, it's just brilliant to see other Guard players trying it out. More pure infantry Guard players, more, I say. It's so good. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members, so thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, and they have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a big shout out to Bon Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Varney. Thank you guys so much. Your incredible generosity is a massive part of how I'm able to do Mordian Glory full time, and it is a big driving force behind the channel. But I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.